Step outside.
Yat Anotcho, happy solstice, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah. We want to take this time to acknowledge our traditional owners and ancestors of these tribal lands of Ogapoke Owinge, also known as Santa Fe. We reside in here. We thank you all in blessings. This evening, we are really excited because we have Ed Kabodi. And when I say Ed Kabodi, there is only one Ed Kabodi. And Ed is a brother. He is an artist. He is a musician. He is Hopi from Tewa nations and considers himself to be a edu-tainer, which is a nice take on education and entertainment combined into one. He combines a variety of visual arts, music, and education. He does lectures. He does performances about alternative history and issues important related to Indigenous people and lands of the Four Corners states regions. And it's kind of like this right there. Boom, 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 boom. Four corners. Right on. Everybody, let's welcome Ed Kabodi.
Nice.
All right, Ed, tell us a little bit about yourself and your creativity. Thank you.
Well, quay lentawi an hopi matsiwa huap ing ang umu kwari arik atwa khap o winge are komope o winge o wo e hosonge iweri. My name is Ed Kabodi, and I'm from the Tewa village of Hopi Village, aka Santa Clara Pueblo, and also the Hopi Village of Shungopavi on Second Mesa. And anyway, I come from the Badger clan of the Tewa people, and my father is Snow clan. And so shout outs to my aunties on that side, and shout outs to my relatives on the Badger side, on the Tewa and both Hopi side. And yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
We are so honored to have you, Ed, and we've been watching you, we've been hearing you, we've been seeing you in the front of the scenes, we've been seeing you behind the scenes, we have seen you put on your things aren't working gloves. We got to make this work, and let's see how we can make this work. Last Indian Market Festival, we were in a serious rainstorm, and we saw how you were able to pull together a as safe as possible PA system so that the performance could get under the rain and sing to the lightning and the clouds with all the people around. So yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about where did you grow up, Ed?
Yeah, I grew up in a combination of two reservations. My mother, as I've already mentioned, is Tewa from Santa Clara Pueblo. So grew up primarily there, but also in Hopi on the second Mesa village of Shungopavi. So kind of back and forth, but my schooling was all in New Mexico. I went to the Santa Clara Day School in elementary school, and then I spent 1 year at St. Catherine's Indian School, and then transferred over to Santa Fe Indian School from 8th grade on through 12th. So that's kind of a little bit of my growing up years there, you know.
That's awesome. So I'm really curious, what got you into music? How did you get turned on to that whole scene?
I mean, the way I look at things, or maybe one way to look at things, is that when you come from Pueblo culture, and maybe I'm sure this is true of many indigenous cultures, but you know, from the cultures that I grew up in, Tewa and Hopi villages, you know, everybody's a musician, basically. You know, I mean, everybody grows up singing, everybody grows up dancing. Now, we're not looking at it this way, but one way you could say that we're all brought up in the performing arts, you know, you could say, and also visual arts. But of course, that's not the way we look at it, because this is the way that we interact with the universe. But I would say that, like many uh Pueblo boys, this is my first influence, you know what I mean? Rocking out with the drum, singing the songs that we hear, learning those songs and mimicking them in our play. Um when I was in elementary school, my father did an album cover, the third album cover. He's a visual artist, and he did Exit's third album cover. This is the album Relocation. So we had all this. My father had a big 8-track collection, right? So we had like Exit and Redbone, Paul Ortega, and also my father's 33s. I know we had like Gallup Intertribal, and we like had San Juan Turtle Dance, and just all of these voices, that to me, I didn't really recognize that I was really being treated to a lot of special movement of Native American, both traditional and non-traditional sounds at that time. That I think it carried on to be a big influence. But in at the Indian school, we were very probably, this is third generation boarding school, and to be honest with you, I feel like even though our situations are different from the horror stories of our grandparents, yet I feel like we're carrying a lot of what they refer to as that generational trauma and a lot of anger. I think you could see it played out in a lot of our behaviors, but metal, is what made a lot of sense to us. And it was in the 80s, that reggae, after the death of Bob Marley, that kind of reggae began infiltrating our reservations too. So all of those influences kind of combine in my musical journey.
That is wonderfully said. I hadn't thought about that, but now that you say that, yeah, reservation living and growing up, there's that, there's the drum, there's the chants, there's seasonal purposes for everything, and a time and a place for everything as well. And then sometimes a time to just go find a place in the mountains to go ad lib and figure out some ways to make some sounds with nature. That's beautiful. I love it. Well, are we able to ask you to grace us with a song of your choice?
Yeah, for sure. I think that right now, if the flute's gonna work, I think that's a that's good medicine, good energy for this evening. To me, just meditating on this, because we're stepping, the sun has made its winter home, and now begins his other journey, and so
Right.
this is the shortest day of the year, that's a sacred day, um a day that we should probably all be spending in meditation and prayer for a new year, so maybe with that in mind, I'll play a little bit of flute.
Yes, thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Deep, deep time for introspection and manifestation. And it's a powerful day today. It's a powerful day today. I was wanting to write some songs today, so it's just a very serendipitous event that you're actually here. And any kind of inspiration is very meaningful in this time, in this day. I'm not sure if everybody else can feel it, but it's a teary, multiple vibrational day with all kinds of emotions and stuff like that happening. So I wanted to talk to you about what are some of the things that you like to write about? What do you sing about? What touches you in a way to where you just want to create?
That's a cool question. For me, I don't, have a formula for writing songs. Sometimes I'm writing about something that I need to do research on, So sometimes the inspiration is more academic, Sometimes, you have that, for whatever reason, you're on a spiritual kind of connective vibe, and maybe that comes out in your music. Maybe things that are happening around you, are affecting you. Sometimes heartbreak, obviously is also a big, heavy inspiration. Sometimes, emotions. So I feel like I draw from a number of different things. One thing I would say that uh, that continues to inspire me. When I came right out of high school, I took a few classes at the Coconino, or not Coconino, the Northern New Mexico College in Española. And I had the privilege of working with this guy named Cipriano Vigil. And of course, he's from El Rito, Northern New Mexico, but he's playing a lot of like folk music of, of course, Spanish culture. And it was stuff that I had closed my ears to as a youth. But as he would tell stories of his own experience and, what these songs meant and where they came from, a lot of them, coming from native traditions in Mexico and further south, and some of the instruments that he would use, it just kind of blew my mind and gave me a recognition for myself that the music I love the most is music that expresses the people and the land, the atmosphere of where people are from. And for instance to this might be like Los Lonely Boys. I know where they're from. Exit, I can feel where they're from. Bob Marley and the Wailers, I can feel where they're from. Metallica, Iron Maiden, you can feel where they're from. Somehow there's a connection to place, somehow that comes out in the music. And I love that. I love feeling that. So for myself, when I look at the place I come from, it's a place that has deep ties, going back millennia to my people. However, it's also one of the most exploited lands for uranium, water, oil, and coal. 500 open pit uranium mines still on Navajo Nation from the Cold War. If you have running water in Hopi, you still have to haul water because of arsenic contamination that's present in the water. The Supai were kicked out of the Grand Canyon in 1918 so that we could have a national park in 1919. And they're the only group of people that are threatened by the continual operation of a uranium mine at the Grand Canyon, which has just recently been renamed Pinon Plain Mine as opposed to Grand Canyon Mine. But there's all of these situations, not to also mention the Ute Mountain Ute, next to the Bears Ears, who are threatened by the only existing uranium mill in the entire United States of America. Of course, it's Native American people, you know, that are facing these situations. And a lot of these situations are out of sight, out of mind, you know, to people outside our reservations. And so to me, when we talk about education and edutainment, you know, combining education with entertainment, that's a big focus of mine, is to raise awareness of these issues.
I can't agree with you more. Wrote a song called Blessed Rain about Peabody Coal Mine. And my grandmother, my son, are walking on Black Mountain every day praying for rain. And that whole story is in there, and it's very touching, and there's some chanting in there as well. And so grandmothers, grandfathers are super sacred to a lot of us people, all cultures, grandmothers and grandfathers. So heart journey. Are you able to sing us a song on your acoustic guitar about what you're talking about?
Maybe.
Okay, sounds great on this end.
It's there's been a, you know, like many of us this fall and winter, you know, something hit me, you know, about a month ago, and it's still been dragging on in my throat, you know, but I'm gonna try something.
That guitar sounds great.
This song is taking the melody of a tune from Mr. Modest Yahoo singing about his the land of his ancestors. Gave me an inspiration to sing about the land of mine. So this is called Hopi Land. Hopi land, if I forget you. Whoops. Hopi land, if I forget you. Fire not gonna come from me tongue. Hopi land, if I forget you. Let my right hand forget what it's supposed to do. In the ancient day during our migration way, following the sign that Jah provide with no delay. We've been traveling from a place to place, seeking understanding by what the spirits say. 10,000 years in this land of the free, and them want me to give up my right to property. Don't you see? It never belonged to you and me. We were given permission if we'd live in harmony. Hopi land, if I forget you. Fire not gonna come from me tongue. Hopi land, if I forget you. Let my right hand forget what it's supposed to do. The Castellum come in 1540. Years gone by, about 60, when we were burned in the oven in the 17th century. Them tried to conquer, but them can't conquer me. I will not lie down, I will not fall asleep. I remember how they held our fathers in captivity. Took our children, erased their memory, changed their names and their identity. Remember who you are and your people's history, how we came into this land to live in humility. No more exploitation for them filthy money. We all know that's not the way to be. Hopi land, if I forget you. Fire not can come from me tongue. Hopi land, if I forget you. Let my right hand forget what it's supposed to do. We caught up in these ways, the world's gone crazy. Don't you know it's just a phase? Case of the Simon says, if I neglect the truth, then my word won't penetrate. Babylon burning through the blaze, can't see through the haze. Chop down all of their dirty ways. That's the price that you pay for selling lies to the youth. No way, not okay. Oh, no way, not okay. Now, ain't no one gonna break my stride. Ain't no one gonna hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving, stay alive. stay alive. We gonna stay alive. Tewa owinge sicho omove Hopi polaka musangave sipalave Shungopavi kikotsmove o jaive bakave hotvilla munkape down in the village, yeah. Down, 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 down in the village, yeah. Hopi land, if I forget you, fire not gonna come from my tongue. Hopi land, if I forget you, let my right hand forget what it's supposed to do. Hopi land, if I forget you, fire not gonna come from my tongue. Hopi land, if I forget you.
Oh, yes.
Yay! Right on.
I had a memory of high school in Tuba City, hearing your song. I was
High school.
jamming with the Hopis and the Navajos and the boarding school, man. Reggae music. Wow, that's really beautiful. And earlier you mentioned heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting how heavy metal becomes the medicine, the medicine in the crowd. It's like, man, we're hearing this music and that Metallica that just hit the reservation. We're like, whoa, wow, something we can relate to. That was really a big influence as well. And between heavy metal and reggae, and then what they used to call disco first came in, they call soul, and moved to hip hop, and then of course you got the chanting all around in the lands, and that kind of seeps in, and then it's like, wow, how do you make a genre? How do you create a genre? How do you fit into a genre? You really don't. You're just Ed. You just got your own your sound and what you do with your walk. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I also wanted to ask you about, there's been a lot of talk on the radio about Colorado, the waters and stuff like that. Can you educate us a little bit about that? What's going on?
Yeah, I guess a response to that, is that the people of the Four Corners region, and particularly Hopi, Hopi is considered to have the oldest continuously inhabited communities in all of North America, and this is like the villages of Shungopavi and Ojaivi and Walpi were all established right around the year 1000. This is also true of the Kiri's village of Acoma. These four villages, very old villages, and they've all subsisted for 1,000 years by dry farming. And maybe it's a better way to explain it that these villages and the people of these communities have continued to exist on this land 100% dependent upon the answers to their prayers for rain for the last 1,000 years. From a Hopi perspective, we live on this landscape in a covenant relationship with the Creator, that when we came here, we were given the charge that if we were to take up residence here, we would live with a very simple technology of dry farming. And that if we would maintain that type of simplicity, recognizing the cycles of the moon, the stars, and the sun and the rains, and living in harmony with that, then the lives of our people and our children would be prolonged. And I think that's very profound because, again, Hopi is the oldest continuously inhabited communities in all of North America. A proverb of our people, Patuakatsi, is often repeated in the greater, or not the greater, but the larger cultures, which is translates to water is life, But you need to recognize when a Hopi says water is life, this is somebody who is living without rivers, without lakes, living by springs, living by the cycles of the rain. It means something very heavy, from that culture. The Colorado River is a desert river, and as a matter of fact, John Wesley Powell himself, made recommendation that people don't try to populate this area, Four Corners area, in large numbers, But Phoenix is the 5th largest city, in the country. And we have states and countries that are fighting over rights to the Colorado River, And we're all living within our comfort zones, We all use water like it's, like it's always going to be there. We have swimming pools, we have golf courses, we have all these crazy luxuries. And that's really what Hopi culture in its traditional sense is we're charged against seeking comfort, because it's when we're seeking comfort, when we're seeking to not live in harmony with the heat and the cold, then we become abusive to one another in our pursuit of our own comfort. And, we abuse our Mother Earth, and we abuse one another in that situation. Anyway, that's kind of my take on what's happening with the Colorado River, is that, we're all talking about it, but are we really willing to make the drastic changes in our lives that we need to change what's happening there, the threats to Colorado River?
Yes, that is a very serious concern. We are still hauling water from chapter houses, and mostly those 55-gallon barrel water barrels, and it's on dirt road. And it's water is life, water is sacred, and water is very hard to come by. And those of us living in luxury with electricity and running water and flushing toilets and showers, it's like, how does everybody get a consciousness to get in, wet yourself, turn it off, wash up, and turn it on, and turn it back off and get out? Just, do the bare necessities. Because like the Aboriginal people in Australia and the Northern Territory around Alice Springs and Tennant Creek, and they live out there very much juxtaposed to the traditional people that live where people don't want to go, or don't want to go and exploit for capitalist purposes, because there's no water, so around the countries is just populated with all around the water. It's like, Melbourne and Sydney and all these places that everybody goes, just like all this attention on. But you go out into Northern Territory, and how do these guys get water? There's no infrastructure, there's no plumbing. But the Hopis know how to do it too. So there's a real connection there of really going back to survival. So I really wanted to ask you curiously, what is the connection with the Hopi? Because you named in your song a lot of different Hopi villages I'm familiar with, like Moenkopi, and I know there's I went to Tuba City High School, so Second Mesa and all that. what's the connection to the 19 pueblos over here? Because you're also a part of Santa Clara. So is there any kind of dialect, or can you understand each other? And, can you talk to us a little about the language and stuff like that?
Well, there's actually like the pueblos of New Mexico, they say there's 19, but to me there's like 24, because Laguna is actually 6 villages as opposed to one, Siama, Encinel, Parahi, Powari, Laguna, Masita, and then, there's another 12 villages in Hopi. So there's 36 pueblos, and then of course, a lot of times today in New Mexico, we include, Isleta del Sur down below as as a number 20 in the mix. So I guess, maybe there's 37. But these represents these are very different cultures, very different languages, like Hopi to Tewa to me is like comparing Greek to Swahili, it's not a language that has a lot in common with each other. Tewa and the Tewa, like up north, Taos and Picaris, and then the southern Tewa, Sandia and Isleta, those 4 villages speak Tewa. And then there's the Tewas in between them, Oke Owinge, San Juan, and Tetsuge Owinge, Tesuki, and Pohoge Owinge, which is San Ildefonso, Posuage Owinge, Powaki Pueblo, and Nambe Owinge, Hap Owinge, Santa Clara. Those are all the Tewa villages in between, the Tewa villages. And then there's one Tewa village in Hopi. And this is the result of the second Pueblo Revolt of 1696. We often talk about the first Pueblo Revolt of 1680, and we leave out stories about the second Pueblo Revolt, which was in 1696. And as a result of that revolt, a group of Tewa migrated out to Hopi, as a number of different people did, at that time. But so there's one Tewa village in Hopi, Tewa Owinge, among the Hopi villages. But, there's 6 Tewa, or there's 6 language groups: Kiris, Tewa, Towa, Zuni, Hopi, among the Pueblos. And, some of them speak languages that are similar. Some of them can understand each other, but, Zuni is considered a language isolate. Kiris is considered a language isolate. Supposedly the Tewa, and the Towa have relation to the Kaiwa of the plains. And then Hopi is a Uto-Aztecan language, which has similarities to Shoshone and Comanche and Azteca, and a lot of tribes from Mexico, Tohono O'odham as well, Yaquis.
You have a wealth of knowledge there. That is wonderful that you're sharing this with us, because probably a lot of us on this show tonight don't know about this information that I've been hearing. Hopi, I had Hopi friends growing up, believe it or not, in Seli. Russell Makta had a couple of sons there, and Althea Susankiwa, we used to call her Fifi. She had children, and so it's all beautiful. It's all beautiful. It's hard, it's trying. So I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'm gonna try to squeeze in one more question before the break, because I want your fan base to come in and say hi to you if they'd like. I'd love to hear another song. I know we've got some YouTubes that we wanted to share tonight. Again, time thing. So the last thing, what is the economy like, and what is the hope for the future for, I know you got your precious elders, and what about the young ones, the little ones, and the future of staying on the lands or being a part of the lands, and how does Wi-Fi and all that come into it? That's a pretty loaded question, but see what you can do in a couple of minutes.
I'm not sure what you're directing that question at,
Probably just the economy. How's the economy? I know you guys are
Like
totally,
like in Hopi.
yeah.
Well, Hopi is like 75% unemployment. The the world's largest strip mining operation on the joint use lands of Navajo and Hopi, where we were initially paid 3.3% for the market value of coal and $1.67 for every 326,000 gallons of water. They needed water to transport the coal out to the Mojave generating station in Nevada so that people in the Imperial Valley of California, um, big cities in Arizona and the excesses of the Las Vegas Strip could exist. The Southwest was built up by the resources of Navajo and Hopi reservation, and we were ripped off pennies on the dollar, for what they took from us. The world's largest strip mining operation. Let me say that one more time. The world's largest operating strip mining operation. Now that Kayenta Black Mesa mine is done, now there's very little cash flow, going through the tribe. So, but I mean, I don't I don't look at that as a threat to the culture. I don't look at that as a threat to the communities because, basically everybody has already learned to live self-employed for the most part, and I think the most important thing that we have has always been, in a sense, um, our simplicity, the simplicity of life, and just coming down to the things that are important, which is our relationship with the Creator and our relationship with one another, So we're all struggling in this world, but I hope that we're finding a good path forward.
I absolutely agree with you. In a lot of my travels, I've met a lot of non-Indigenous people, allies. I mean, serious allies, like amazing allies. And I heard so much about the Hopis from these allies, just saying, "Oh man, I read this book, and I went to the Hopi lands. I had this Hopi elder teach me this, and man, these people, these allies of you alls, of our alls, are holding so much deep inside of them. What little they get, like a book they read, it just touches them so profoundly. I'm not sure about all the authors and who's writing it or anything like that, but I hear a lot.
Don't believe
Yeah.
everything you read.
Yeah, exactly. But I know that the world holds your tribe, the Hopis, in great reverence, and the 19 Pueblos, 26 or 24 living around Santa Fe and on. Yeah. So yeah, are just, I tell people the Hopis, I mean, the Pueblos around New Mexico where we reside, remind me of the kindness of the heart of the prophesying Aborigines in the Northern Territory, and some of the most amazing people. And you know what it is true gentleness, true humility, and true beauty, and is beautiful. So I know we're out of time for this part of it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, Elena, come on in. Let's do a quick break and bring everybody else in. Thank you.
Right on. Thanks for that, Tash. And Ed, thank you so much for blessing us in the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle. One of the things that we've so appreciated about you on your walk has been your activism, and through your music, through your walks. I thank you for sharing not only your music and blessing us through the solstice. Happy solstice, everyone. It's such a phenomenal time of how powerful we are in this particular solstice. But Ed, your extraordinary walk. So thank you so much for being with that. I get to do the little commercial break, and then we'll get everyone to come in. And if you've got any questions for the beautiful Ed, that's the time. So we've been doing the virtual events, Wisdom Circle and concert series since April 2020. We've been very blessed to support over 200 Native American, Indigenous, LGBTQIA2S plus, and deaf and hard of hearing presenters. Ed's video will be available at our website, IndigenousWays.org, in the archives library, as well as all these presenters that we've had through. So if you wanted to hear more of Ed, or if you want to share that with your peeps, please do. We'd love that. So that'll be available in the next couple of days. Shooting along the bottom here, you'll see all our social media. If you're on social media now, please like or subscribe to our page. We really want to be in touch with you. And also at our website, IndigenousWays.org, you can get involved in our newsletters, what we've got coming up in the coming year that we're very, very excited with. So we have gone from 2 virtual events per week down to 1 a month. So Ed blessed us on the solstice, the most powerful time of the year, closing out 2020, and then opening 2023, which is January the 18th. We have the beautiful Cheyenne Clean. She is Danae from Page, Arizona. This month, she graduated from Prescott College in Arizona with a Bachelor of Arts in Social Justice and also in Environmental Studies. Why are we having Cheyenne on? Not only is she so youthful, but her vision for the world. We met her in Santa Fe just last month as she was gathering youth through the arts and having all these amazing speakers. This woman is a mover and shaker, and we want you to hear her. So please save the date, 18th of January, same time, same place, same channel, here at the Wisdom Circle. We are very blessed with our wonderful sponsors, including the National Endowment of the Arts, City of Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department, the New Mexico Humanities Council, and the National Endowments of the Humanities that have made the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle and all our virtual events free. We also see we have the beautiful Mariah, who is interpreting at the moment, and before that we also had the beautiful Zol. All of our programs since April 2020 have ASL interpreters. They're free simply because we want everyone to be able to access that. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our board members. We have a couple of you on this evening. Thank you for blessing us. Also, our individual investors, our donors who have made this platform possible for the voices of Native Voice, Native Deaf and Hard of Hearing Voice, Native LGBTQIA2+. So thank you very, very much. You know, what we're going through at the moment is their end of year donation. We are a nonprofit, Indigenous Ways. We support and get out to the public incredible artists like Ed Kabodi, as you have just experienced. We also co-create with the communities and putting on festivals, not only in Indian country, but where we live here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So your investment, your donation goes towards not only our ASL interpreters making access available, but supporting our people through the arts. Very, very important. And then here's our donation. If you go to our website, IndigenousWays.org, you'll see a donation page there. You can donate. We've got PayPal, Venmo, or we've got the slow mail. So you can post a check or whatever it is. Anything helps. And you know what? If you're like me and you're broke, flat broke, that's okay. We're just grateful that you are here and blessing us. So, you know, it's that great time now where we're going to invite everyone that is here in Zoom, if you so choose to put on your cameras. If you are in any of our social media and you have a question for the beautiful Ed, to type your questions in the in your chat box, and we'll run that through Ed. While Tasha's finding her way to get on, I just want to say we had Dilbert Anderson who came in, and when you were playing flute and doing some music, Dilbert said, very nice. We also had Michelle who was here saying your vocals are great. And Venona, who is no longer with us on Zoom, said, thank you all. Blessed solstice to everyone. So while I'm just going to invite others to come in, Tash.
All right, a big thank you, and Yad Eshema and Harry. My mother's in. My mother was born in Big Mountain, and my stepfather Harry. Thank you very much for joining us from Chinle, Arizona. Everybody else here tonight. This is how this works now. You're all welcome to come in if you want and talk to Ed. Ask Ed some questions, or just say, hey, like, right on, brother. We have 2 interpreters online here. So Zol will take one speaker and Mariah will take the other speaker. In sign language world, we call it open processing. So like Homer, when you say hi to Ed, when you'll see either Mariah or Zol, and then when Ed responds, the other interpreter will respond like that. So who wants to go first before I start? Homer, yate, ich wanna know.
Yate, Homer.
Yate, I'm in Durango and I'm on travel, so I've just kind of beamed in a little bit. But Ed Kabodi has always been a favorite of mine. I've listened to him a lot in the past. He's also helped us with the Studies Incorporated, as one of our artists. And but yeah, I've always appreciated his input, his wisdom, the way he presents. It's just some of the history that kind of intertwines with his music and stuff like that. It's just so wonderful, and heartfelt kind of information and music that he gives, and I certainly do appreciate that. Thank you, Ed, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to
see
you.
To see you, Homer. I'm just going to go to social media. We've got Ronnie Colvin. Thanks for typing your message, Ronnie. Ronnie says, your words and music always sound beautiful, Ed. Thanks for sharing. And also, Anne Tread says, appreciate you. Thanks, Tash.
All right, let's go to our brother Delbert Anderson out of Farmington, New Mexico. Yate, Delbert.
Yate. Ed, very, very nice song. I kind of popped in a little late, so sorry about that, but I caught your song. I forget what it was called, Hopi something. But wow, I'm just blown away by the history involved, and like Homer was saying, how you bring those two together with your art. Love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the encouragement. Thank you very much.
All right, let's go to Yoshi. Yoshi out of Pablo Pintado. Yoshi, come on in. Yoshi's a student from IAIA, amazing artist and future presenter of Indigenous Ways as well.
Yate. Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Jarrell, but I prefer to be called Yoshi. And I just finished IAIA this semester, and so I'll be graduating in May.
Congratulations. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to Michelle. Hey, miss, what's up?
Hi there. Oh gosh, it was so great watching you and listening to your stories and your knowledge of Native history and all the issues that you're going on, that you are explaining that's going on in Hopi, and also what's happening, that is affecting us all with what the environmental stresses that are being put on our environment. And I think it's really beautiful that that you put this into song and you use it in your creative aspects in life, and your music was just beautiful. Your song just really touched my heart, and your voice, you've got a really good voice. You said you had a cold, but I couldn't tell at all. It sounded just great. And yeah, so I share your issues with, us needing to protect our resources and the water. Although I feel like I advocate for some of the disparities too that happened for our people, that, how our people get left out and they don't get hardly anything, and they're struggling in the old way. And then other people are just kind of getting to waste water and do other things like that, which is, it's so upsetting for me to see that. And I see it in society all the time, the unconsciousness that people have with regard to those type of things. And sometimes you just want to shake them, you just want to shake them and wake them up that, hey, these are precious resources, and we need to share, we need to share it, but we also need to protect it. So I'm glad that you're out there spreading that word and keeping us in the loop. And so I don't know, I don't, what type of ceremonies do you guys do at your place to protect the environment? Are there some ceremonies that you do there for that type of thing?
Well, that's that's an interesting question. I feel like, in one way, everything that we do is about connecting ourselves, making ourselves aware of the heartbeat of Mother Earth, Again, cycles, the cyclical nature of the rains, of the seasons, of, the cycles of the moon, the cycles of the stars, etc. So, on one hand, there's not really anything that is probably appropriate to share, in detail about any of that. But, at the same time, I would just say in general that, that is what brings us into a place where I feel like we can intimately hear the heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Yeah, I feel like what we're doing here in this is almost like a ceremony too in itself, like us just being able to share in our experiences and what's happening with all the things around us, and the way that we're able to shed light, and also to shed the beauty of the way that we can do things in a good way, so that we can really have good experiences and good results, through our actions, and maybe we can be an influence, and somehow to help people to do things in a more responsible way. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank
That
you.
that is so awesome. All right. Well, guess what? We have time to ask you one more question. What is your definition of thriving in purpose, Ed?
Oh, I'm sorry, say it again.
What is your definition, or what does thriving in purpose mean for you, especially since we're on a very sacred day of the year, being solstice, winter solstice?
Thriving in purpose. I'll have to grab my dictionary. No, I would say that I guess when I think about those words, thriving in purpose, like to thrive means you're living in a good way, you're being strengthened because of your choices, because you've made conscious choices, you're thriving, thriving in purpose. I mean, you can purpose to make poor decisions, you can purpose to make good decisions, so I would say that when you make those good decisions, that's when you thrive, you know. And hopefully, you know, I appreciate Michelle's comments, you know, about trying to influence others, but I really want to say that I really need others to influence me as well, you know, because I'm a child of a student, you know, on this planet, you know, and I know that there's a lot of choices that I make and that I've made, you know, that are not thriving, that have not caused me to thrive, you know. And so maybe approaching the new year and the new season, you know, that's what all of us, I think, and that's what this season to me is often about for me personally, and I hope for others, and I think universally it kind of is, that, you know, this is a time where we can reflect and we can look at some of the past mistakes that we've made, and hopefully we can let go of those things and we can purpose, you know, to step forward in a good way, you know, in a conscious way, so that we can thrive. How's that? Sounds good.
Oh, yeah, man, you spoke to my individual heart, but it also feels like you spoke to all the five-fingered ones living on planet Earth right now, that this is our choice and this is where we can go with it. So I want to thank you so much, Ed, for being a part of our show this evening, and look forward to jamming with you and knowing you and hearing your old creation songs and your new creation songs and your in the process creation songs. And just keep creating. And to me, creativity is thriving in purpose. And my prayer for everyone on this planet is for everyone to have compassion, even if we can't understand everybody's personal challenges and struggles and generational trauma issues, but that we can be compassionate for each other, because I really believe that this is the medicine our Earth needs, Mother Earth. We need to have compassion for her and all this mining happening. And we drive a car, we have a little responsibility there too, but there's new things happening, which Michelle advocates for us. Thank you for your work, Michelle. Love you all. Blessings, happy solstice, happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, and blessings to all. Thank you. Much love.
So on that beautiful note, thanks all those that are in the Zoom and also all on our social media pages. Thank you too to our ASL interpreters. We've got Zol Ubata and also Mariah Garcia. We'll look forward to seeing all of you Wednesday, January the 18th, same time, same channel, at the Indigenous Ways Circle with Cheyenne Clem. It is our end of year donation, so please share that with your friends so we can keep supporting our incredible artists, activists like Ed Kabodi. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, but we would be able to do this with our amazing artists. Please, everyone, let's give it up for Ed Kabodi.
Touch the earth. Feel the rain. Touch the earth, touch the earth, touch the